Okay, so today we're going to talk about energy pyramids, and our focus question is how does energy flow through an ecosystem? And this goes on the right side in your notebook. So what are energy pyramids? These are just food chains written in pyramid format to show how energy moves through the different levels of the organisms. So you notice at the bottom we have the producers or the autotrophs, which are also any organism that photosynthesizes and creates their own energy. And you'll notice that this is the big part of the pyramid because this is where the most amount of energy is. And from that, we move to herbivores, secondary, and top consumers. So the energy. Organisms give off most of their energy as heat. So only 10% of the energy is then moved on to the next level through consumption or through eating the organism in the level below it. So if a mouse was to eat a piece of grass, 10% of the energy from the grass is then moved up to the mouse. So what does this mean? The bottom level, like we said, is the autotrophs and producers, and they create their own energy. The bottom level is the level with the most amount of energy. So if we're to look at these diagrams, we see that going from the bottom, the producers, to the top carnivores, we have a decreasing amount of energy moving up, or just 10%. So if we had a large amount at the bottom, only 10% moves, and then 10% of that moves, and then 10% of that moves. So our energy decreases as we go to the more narrow part of the pyramid. So you'll notice here it says at the bottom in this energy of producers, we have 100% of energy. 10% of that would then be 10% of the energy, which goes to the primary consumers of the herbivores. Moving up from that, it's only 10% of that 10%, which is 1%, which is the energy of the secondary consumers. And then once again, you have the energy of the tertiary, where it's 10% of that 1, which is 0.1% of the energy. So we have our energy flow going from the bottom to the top of our pyramid. At the bottom, once again, we have the producers, which are the plants, and then the primary consumers, which are the herbivores, the secondary consumers, which eat those primary consumers, and then the tertiary, which eat the secondary. So you'll notice that the producers at the bottom have, if we were to start with 100, they have the most amount of energy. 10% of that is just 10 for the primary consumer. The secondary consumer then only has one unit of energy because it's 10% of the 10. And then the tertiary is 0.1. What you can notice with these numbers as they move up is that each number is divided by 10 to get the next number. So how much energy is passed to each trophic level? 10%. What types of organisms are on the bottom level? Primary producers and autotrophs. What level produces its own energy? The first level, the primary producers and the autotrophs. In what process does this level use to create energy? What process does this level use to create energy? Photosynthesis. How is most energy lost through the trophic levels? Heat. We said that only 10% moves, the rest is lost through heat. You may move on to your pyramid that you're going to be building today. The paper is cut out for you and the instructions are listed on the worksheet that accompanies it. And then once you're done with that, you can move on to your biome project.